Okay. So, eto na tayo. So, okay. So, I'll probably be uploading contents related to these. Maybe related to politics. No. I hope you will still stay. If hindi ka comfortable sa topic about politics, I hope you'll stay. No. Ano, I'll try to be as neutral as I can. I have my own biases when it comes to politics, but I'll try to be as neutral as I can so that we'll learn together. I actually just want to learn. No, I just want to learn from the researchers na I've done, and also probably from commenters if there are going to leave some comment. If you leave some comments and give me more information, no. So eto kasi yun ito talaga yung gusto natin, 'di ba, na pag-usapan, politics tsaka religion, kasi we know nakakaapekto siya sa daily lives natin, whether we like it or not, whether we believe in them or not, whether wala man tayong pake sa topic na yan or not, or meron naaapektuhan tayo actually, politics in every sa lahat ng lives natin. And I think ito yung gusto kong pag-usapan talaga I love to talk about religion, no? But for me, I think religion is like the simplest, pinaka-simple form of debate, no? Kasi for me, it's just belief, no? Debate lang kung ano yung pinaniniwalaan mo. But iba ang politics It is like the application of the belief. Kasi doon nasi-shape ang mga laws natin because of our belief. So, heavy pa din ang religion kasi yun na nga, nakakaapekto siya sa mga nangyayari sa mundo in a form of politics. Heavy pa din siya. For me, it's like the foundation ng mga actions natin, whatever our beliefs are. And heavy ang influence ng belief, pero at the end of the day, meron pa din namang tao, no, na kahit na ganoon yung siguro belief nila, nagbabago. Let's say for example, babae ka na Kristiyano, and you understand the plight of women to have a legal na abortion. So even if you are a Christian, you support the legalization of it. So there are instances that are like that. There are also instances wherein you are a Christian pero you support the LGBT community, like you support the gay same-sex marriage and so on. So gusto ko na mag-shift siguro, no? From time to time, I would love to talk still about religion and philosophy and belief and non-belief. Pero I'd like to slowly shift to politics kasi maganda din pag-usapan ito. Again, I will try to be neutral, no? And in this topic, I'd love to talk about Pogo. Let's discover Pogo. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng Pogo? No. Pogo means Philippine Offshore Gaming Operators. Pogo, Philippine Offshore Gaming Operators. So this is not a company. So it is not a single company. That's something kasi na parang common sa mga comments. Ipasara na yung Pogo. They're like, it's like their impression is that it's a big company, it's called Pogo, and ipapasara yung Pogo. Hindi. It's just a category. No, Pogo is just a category sa mga sa industry na nag-ooperate ng online gambling. So it's an online gambling. So it's just a category. It's an industry of online gambling like other industries. May industry sa tourism, may industry sa IT, engineering and all. Pogo is just the category of mga online gambling na mga operators, no? So okay. So kailan ito nag-start? Yung online gambling. Not the Pogo ha. Pogo kasi is just the category, no? Tinawag sa online gambling. So, category ng Pagcor, sorry. So, kailan nagsimula pala ang online gambling? So, as early as 2003, since siguro the beginning of the internet, no? May online gambling na. And pumasok sila dito as early as 2003. No, ang online gambling. It's not per se illegal, no? It's not per se na hindi siya pwede, hindi siya allowed, but at that time hindi pa siya napapansin. It is, meron ako ditong note yung may term dito where's that? So it's parang ano siya, parang hindi pa siya napapansin. May mga nagsusulputan na ng mga maliliit na opisina, nagko-conduct ng mga online gambling, pero hindi pa sila napapansin ng government. Pwede napapansin sila, and pwede din na pinipirahan na sila kasi nga hindi siya regulated pa at that time, as early as 2003. Remember, 2003, it's before Facebook. I think Facebook was sumikat ang Facebook around 2005. YouTube, sumikat siya around 2004. So, as early as 2003. So, hindi siya legal. And hindi din siya illegal. No, parang nato-tolerate lang siya ng mga natin, ng government natin. Kasi hindi ganoon kadami ang Chinese na pumapasok to work on these online gambling operations, and hindi din siya ganoon ka-controversial. So, as early as 2003. So, naging siya, na-regulate siya noong 2016. That was 8 years ago. So, ang Pagcor nag-start na hindi actually 2016, but as early as 2016 doon na nag-start na mag-process ang Pagcor sa pagbibigay ng lisensya, no? Kasi parang around early 2016 parang nakikitaan na siya ng potential of earning money. Maraming pera pumapasok, napapansin na siya na hey, we could earn a lot of money from this industry. A lot of Chinese are coming in, a lot of Chinese are buying, bumibili sila kasi hindi illegal naman ang online gambling sa Pinas hindi siya illegal, kaso although hindi siya illegal, pero kailangan siyang i-regulate, kailangan siyang merong mga strict rules pa din, kailangan may limits pa din yung business na yun. So as early as 2016 doon na nagsimula na i-process ang mga licenses sa mga operators, and dito nagsimula ang term na Pogo. Dito nag-start ang term na Pogo. Dito sila kinategorize as Philippine Offshore Gaming Operators. Dito nag-start ang parang term talaga, Pogo. So yun, nag-start na ang Pagcor to lay out kung ano ang regulations, anong mga government ang dapat involved in watching over this online gambling operation. So Pagcor started processing offshore gaming licenses in 2016. It is issued only to offshore-based operators in any foreign country. Hindi lang Chinese. Kaso marami talagang sugarol sa China, kaya maraming Chinese na involved sa online gambling. Philippine-based players hindi pwede, including foreign nationals who are staying in the Philippines. So hindi sila pwedeng mag-online gambling. Parang ito yung limitations nila. Before I can give you license, me as Pagcor, before I can give you a license, you as an operator, ito yung mga set of rules ko. Hindi pwedeng maglaro ang mga Pinoy, hindi pwedeng maglaro ang mga foreign nationals na nakatira sa Pilipinas. Not allowed to gamble. So talagang ang mga naglalaro ay talagang online lang, nandoon sa ibang bansa at nagsusugal through online, no? And the operators are here based in the Philippines. So maganda ito sa ekonomiya, no? Nakita ito na potential na income revenue for Pagcor, no? na pwede nilang pagkakitaan kasi around 200,000 tawag dito $200,000 kailangan magbayad ang mga applicant ng $200,000 for e-casino license and $150,000 for a sports betting license. So ang dami pa lang pwedeng pagsugalan, no? Sports, ano pa, hindi ako familiar sa sugal, hindi ako nagsusugal. So imagine yearly $200,000, that's a big sum of money for PAGCOR to earn. And it is also a new source of revenue kasi at that time din parang hindi na nila ni-renew ang PhilWeb Corp, another corporation that's involved in online gambling. But let me confirm, PhilWeb Corp is a leading gaming technology provider in the Asia Pacific region. So we are listed on the Philippine Stock Exchange as PSE Web. Okay, so hindi na nila ni-renew ang license ng PhilWeb Corp and nakitaan nila ng potential source of new income etong mga online gambling operators, no? So nagsagawa ang government natin ng Task Force Pogo. Kabilang dito ang PAGCOR, BIR at Bureau of Immigration to ensure operators heed conditions. Meron kasing conditions na binigay sa mga aplikante para i-follow yon para mabigyan sila ng license. So gumawa sila ng task force, PAGCOR tsaka BIR, making sure na nagbabayad sila ng taxes, and Bureau of Immigration making sure na kontrolado yung mga pumapasok dito sa Pilipinas. So as of 2019, the Philippine Gaming Regulator has issued licenses to 60 online gambling companies. So 60 daw na gambling companies. But on August 19, Manila banned licenses for new online gaming firms as lawmakers and some ministers have called for tighter controls on Chinese visitors, saying many are illegal workers whose presence fans security concerns. So meron daw tayong nabigyan ng license, 60, siguro 60 plus to, pero 3 years later meron tayong in-stop natin ang pagbigay ng license sa mga bago, hindi renewal but bago siguro na pumasok, kasi meron ng mga concerns, may mga balita na nagdagsaan yung mga Chinese dito sa Pilipinas, no? Ito pa, the AMLAC noted the range of issues it faced while attempting to conduct on-site compliance checks of the POGO industry, namely the lack of local agents and authorized representatives in the Philippines despite regulations requiring the presence of a local agent whose obligations include completing the documentary requirements during application for gaming operations. So meron daw tayong pagkukulang. Siguro understandable no na may pagkukulang kasi wala naman tayong in place na regulation sa online gambling. Nagsimula lang siya sa 2016, siguro hilaw pa. And yun na nga, because it is hilaw, ito yung mga nakikita natin mga problema. May mga dagsaan na mga Chinese na illegal, could be illegal workers, could be spies, we don't know. It's just that nalilink ang existence ng POGO, existence ng mga online gambling operations sa pagdagsa ng mga Chinese, no? Many are illegal workers, no, na nagte-threaten sa security natin. The AMLAC also said it could not locate the compliance officers of any POGOs at any provided addresses, with operators or service providers unaware of their existence, and that the POGOs it visited had no anti-money laundering or counter-terrorism financing compliance units. So talagang hilaw no, meron hilaw ang Bureau of Immigration kasi walang any kind of measures to prevent foreigners coming in. Hilaw sa money laundering kasi wala tayong any kind of measures to counter money laundering, no? And ano pa? Eto, in 2019, 3 years later, local authorities shut down around 200 internet-based casinos and service providers, illegally servicing online gaming operations in the same year. The local government also seized the operations of one of the largest service provider for internet-based casinos. The said service provider was allegedly linked to an individual and entity subject of an AMLAC investigation in relation to the Bangladesh bank heist. Now, this is a news article that I'm just reading. But, eto na nga, 2016 ang start ng pag-process ng league na i-regularize siya. But, years later, nagkakaproblema ang Pilipinas. These were the issues. But, let's talk about the positive side, no? Ano ba ang naibigay ng Pogo when it was regularized in 2016? So Pogo is a multi-billion peso gambling haven targeting Chinese citizens through casinos and online games. So ang target na market ng gambling, ang online gambling na industry are Chinese nationals, hindi Filipino citizens but Chinese citizens, no? So if you really think about this, if I was the leader and I know gambling is bad, then at least I'm earning money as a leader, at least I'm earning money, and yung biktima ng gambling operations is at least Chinese, hindi ko kapwa Pinoy. So if I'm thinking about earning money, at least nakuha ko yung gusto ko. I'm earning money and I'm not victimizing my own citizens. That could be something that I will think, no, if I was the leader. So eto din ang na-benefit ng mga online gambling na service provider, yung mga real estate, yung mga condo, mga office for rent, mga buildings, nakapag-benefit siya kasi yung mga operators bumibili ng mga premium na prices of office space in Manila, no? Nabibilhan sila. And my point nga na nagka-problema yung mga local na buyers kasi hindi na nila na-afford yung mga office space kasi nagtaasan yung presyo. There is a demand, no? Nagtaasan yung presyo. So sino ba yung nagiging happy when pag nandito ang Pogo? Di ba mga business owners, mga real estate owners. So nabibili yung mga office space sa Metro Manila, and eto nakakapagbigay ng boom sa economy, di ba? At least, no, there will be negative effects like prices starting to rise up, but you know, there's money, no? May bumibili. If ako yung tindero, pag may bumibili, edi masaya ako, di ba? So yun yung nangyari sa Manila. Real estate firms benefited. Government as well have benefited the existence of Pogos kasi nag-earn sila ng $200 million at least in license fees alone, no? And meron ngang data sa mga QR transactions sa Philippines noong 2018-2019. Nakikita, meron kasing record niyan kung ilang transactions, ilang volume of transactions ang nangyayari at ang ilang volume of money ang natatransact gamit ang QR code. If money are being used in transactions, meaning there's also earnings sa side ng mga e-wallets, no? Like Paymaya or GCash or whatever. Napag-alaman na yung Chinese na mga nationals na nandito sa Pilipinas may not register, but there was a volume na nagsisend and nagre-receive ng money na around where's that figure, around 139,000, no, na volume na going in, going out dito sa Pinas na gawa ng mga Chinese nationals, 139,000 noong 2018. And yung pera na napapaikot sa ekonomiya natin is around 397 million pesos. Sa 139,000 na transaction, 397 million pesos yung naiikot. And compare that to the locals, no? Compare that to the local Filipinos, there were 4 million, around 4 million transactions, volume of transactions sa 2018, and ang value na naiikot is 1.5 billion. So parang mas gastador pa ang mga Chinese kaysa sa mga Pinoy, kasi ang volume lang ng Chinese is 139,000 pero meron silang napapaikot na pera na 400 million, whereas sa Filipinos 4.2 million yung volume, yung money na yung transactions, pero ang money na naiikot is 1.4 billion pesos. And dumobo siya actually pagdating ng 2019. Nag-increase ang volume of transactions from 100,000 to 500,000, and yung value ng transactions na yon is from 400 million to 1.2 billion. Compare that to the locals or the Filipinos na 5 million yung volume and 2 billion yung value, no? So mas malaki pa din sila as spenders, no? Mas gumagastos sila. So meron talagang nakakatulong siya sa ekonomiya natin. Isa pa, nag-increase din ang Chinese arrivals through POGO employment. Dumami sila, nagdagsaan sila dito either as a tourist or as an employer, kasi ina-allow din natin sila as an employer dito sa Pilipinas. Ang estimated na employment ng Chinese is 200,000 Chinese. As of 2018, government data show only 33,000. So estimated based sa mga sa laki ng mga operators and based sa dami nila, ang estimation natin is 200,000. Kaso yung na-register natin is 33,000 lang. So merong parang discrepancy, parang hindi natin nare-register lahat, no? Parang may mga illegal workers talaga kasi 33,000 lang have been given alien employment permits. That number has gone up to an estimated of 138,000 foreign workers as of 2019 according to the Finance Department. But that 138,000 could have been another low na number of foreign workers kasi nag-increase sa 2019 So hindi na siguro 200k Chinese individuals ang estimated natin na ma-employ, but it could have grown, no? It could have doubled. So 400k yung estimation na natin, and 138 lang yung workers na parehistro natin. So isa pa, POGOs are accounted for more than 1/3 of all Metro Manila office space transactions for the first half of 2019. Imagine 1/3 sila sa office space. So kung tatanggalin ko, no, according to some mga experts natin, kung tatanggalin ko ng POGO, it would raise, this was 2019 it could raise the office vacancy level of Metro Manila. Where's that? The vacancy level of Metro Manila will increase to 8%. That's about 970,000 square meter of office space ang mababakante. That is excluding the residential space ng mga POGO workers. So office space lang yon, hindi pa kasali doon ang space na na-occupy ng mga POGO workers. So 970 square, siguro bakante na siya ngayon kasi binan na ni Marcos, but that is the estimation. 8% ang magiging vacancy rate, vacancy level. So ito yung mga nabigay na mga positive sa POGO, no? And okay, so bakit nandito ang POGO? Why are they thriving here? Hindi ba ito disadvantage sa China kasi yung mga tao nila dito napupunta ang pera? kasi dito nagagastos, 'di ba? Although no, hindi dito nagagastos. Wait, parang dito na nga din kasi doon sila sa China nag-o-online, nagagamble, pumapasok ang pera sa Philippines, and then in turn the operators will use their money to expand, like buy more office space, employ more people. Those people will spend money locally, will buy whatever in their local stores. So dito naiikot ang pera ng mga pera ng taga-Chinese. So ano ang reaction ng ano dito ng China? So in China, gambling is banned or illegal. Bawal ang gambling doon sa China, except for state-run lotteries. But in general, gambling is banned. Kaya na-force siguro ang mga Chinese gambling companies na magpumasok dito. So very lucrative ang Pilipinas para sa mga gambling operators sa Pilipinas kasi number one, wala tayong masyadong regulation kasi hindi pa tayo expert sa industry na to. Maluwang siya, and yun, especially on the 2016 kasi na-regularize na siya. So nag-move sila dito ang mga Chinese gambling companies, no? Siguro meron sa China siguro ng mga online gambling na doon mismo naggumagawa kasi kahit saan naman meron naman talagang hindi nagfa-follow ng law, no? Meron naman talagang mga illegal. So meron siguro mga illegal na gambling companies doon sa China, pero siguro naisip nila mas safer dito kasi illegal. Dito na lang sila gagawa ng mga opisina. So aside from online gambling, Philippines has also attracted tens of thousands of Chinese gamblers who play at casinos on Manila and elsewhere. So aside from business owners, meron din silang na-attract na mga Chinese na mga sugarol, no? Kasi legal dito so nagsusugal sila sa mga casinos natin. And in 2019, merong balita na ang China ang China mismo nag-request, no? In 2019, nakinig si Cambodia sa plea ni China na iban ng online gambling. Kasi sa realization ng Cambodia back in 2019, nakakapasok nga ng pera ng Chinese money ang online gambling, pero it had also been used by foreign criminals to extort money. This was way back in 2019. In 2019, na-realize ni Cambodia na maraming pera ang naipapasok ng Chinese ng online gambling, pero marami din itong bad effects, which is yung mga foreign criminals nag-i-extort ng money. Ang China mismo ang nagre-request ng country na i-stop mo yung paglegal ng online gambling kasi naaapektuhan kami dito. Aside siguro sa pera na napupunta sa ibang country, siguro ang na-mention dito ni China, may mga concern si China na may mga criminal na nakakapasok sa lugar ninyo kasi kasi through this criminal activities, no? So akala natin na si China ang nagpapapasok dito, si China ang nag-aalaw na pumasok kayo diyan. Akala natin, no, in the early I thought na the Chinese government actually parang parang Trojan horse na pinapasok ng Chinese government ang Pogo para iguluhin tayo dito sa Pilipinas. But China has been actively contacting countries that are involved in online gambling to stop, no? They are requesting countries to stop these gambling operations kasi meron ngang mga criminal activities na nangyayari behind the scenes. So this is China. So China could be taking over our West Philippine Sea. China could be spying on us, but it is also very public na ang China mismo nagre-request, no? Nag-a-ask ng mga other nations na i-stop niyo yung Pogo operation kasi naaapektuhan kami. Kayo and kami ang nadadamay. Ganon yung sinasabi ng China. So there was this instance no na nag-publicly call ang Chinese government sa Philippines na personally to Duterte to stop the online gambling, pero ni-reject ito ni Duterte. Duterte rejects China's call to ban Philippine online gambling. So, 'di ba, we have this impression that Duterte is very close to Chinese government, very maka-China siya, no, when we, that's just our impression when we hear Duterte on the news, no, na hindi niya sinabi niya about sa yung arbitration ruling, sinabi niya is just a piece of paper. Sinabi niya na hindi natin kaya ang China. So in a way parang pro-China siya in a way, no? Hearing him on the news, parang pro-China siya. But when it comes to Pogo, hindi sila nagkasundo ng China. Ni-reject niya ang request ng China to call a ban on online gambling. No, kasi I would probably do the same if it's churning money, if it's giving a lot of money to the Philippines, if it's giving a lot of jobs to the Filipino people. I would probably think the same. But siguro, yun na nga, nakikita na natin paisa-isa yung mga problema na dadala ng Pogo. So, ito yung mga statement ni Duterte. Duterte says online gambling a boon to economy. No? It is making the Philippines rich. Pero there are a lot of reports, no, na yung mga dapat sana na nakokolekta natin na pera through taxes hindi natin nakokolekta. Kasi meron pa ding mga illegal na mga online gambling operators na nagtatago na hindi natin nakolekta yung mga taxes nila. So yes, it's something na nakaka-generate ng pera, pero at the same time nalulose din yung pera kasi there are operators that are not actually legal, no, doing illegal things. Si Duterte ang nag-back sa PAGCOR to license internet gambling noong 2016. We decide to benefit the interests of my country. I decide that we need it, Duterte said in a televised news conference, but gave a stern warning to online gambling operators to pay fees and taxes. So yes, inaalaw niya, pero stricto pa din daw siya sa online gambling, reminding them to pay their fees and taxes. On August 2019, Manila banned licenses for new online. Eto, na-mention ko na nga na ang mga bago na nag-a-apply is binan. Eto na nga, narinig ito ng China. On 2019, narinig itong news from China na may mga binan tayo na licenses for new online gambling. And China again asked the Philippine government and hoped that the Philippines would go further and ban online gambling. So again, nag-mention si China, hey, that's a good step, but go a step further and actually ban online gambling. Ito na naman yung suggestion ng China. In 2019, China has asked the Philippines to ban online gambling, saying it fuels crimes like money laundering. It has also expressed concerns over the supposed modern-day slavery being experienced by Chinese nationals working in the Philippines offshore gaming operation hubs. The workers are confined at certain places and are subjected to extortion, physical abuse, and torture, China claimed. So eto na, papasok na tayo sa mga crackdowns ng Pogo. So to summarize, online gambling has been happening since the era of the internet, no? Nangyayari na siya. Marami na dito sa Pilipinas, kaso hindi natin napapansin kasi bago pa ang internet, hindi pa natin alam ano ang potential ng isang internet, pero may mga naglalabasan na. Naging Pogo lang siya as a category of an industry for online gambling as another stream of money for the Philippine economy noong 2016. Sanabi ni Digong na binakapan ni Digong ang PAGCOR na, hey PAGCOR, ayusin mo ang trabaho mo, gumawa ka ng mga assessment, gumawa ka ng mga guidelines para paano natin gawing legal ang isang ang online gambling. Paano natin i-regularize? I-regularize natin ito kasi nakakapasok ito ng pera, and nakakapasok naman talaga ng pera. Multi-billion peso nga. So maraming naka-benefit, maraming mga business owners ang sumaya nang ito'y naging regular, na regularize. Maraming Pinoy ang nabigyan ng trabaho, maraming Pinoy businesses ang nabuhay, maraming influx of Chinese people ang pumasok and na napaikot yung ekonomiya natin through their spending. Nabuhay yung mga area kung saan nandoon yung Pogo. After ng ilang years, after 3 years na naging regularized ito, na naging legal ito, may mga na-encounter tayong issue about about yung volume ng influx of Chinese. Hindi natin na-expect na ganoon kadami. Parang natakot tayo na parang baka wala tayong control sa immigration, na baka may papasok dito na mga spies, baka may pumasok dito na mga criminal, and tayo yung from the inside gigibain tayo. So there's that fear, no. Wala pa mang nangyari, pero there's that fear, and it's a valid fear kasi yun na nga, wala tayong control sa influx of Chinese. Hindi nagkulang ang China to remind other countries na ginagawang legal ang online gambling to tell the governments na, hey, eto yung data namin, eto yung mga nakikita namin, a lot of operators are involved in criminal activities. Be very careful, no? Nasasaktan yung ekonomiya namin kasi napupunta ang pera namin sa inyo, and ang tawag dito, nasasaktan yung own citizens din namin kasi they are involved in gambling, and we all know that gambling is addiction, no, na nakakasira talaga ng buhay. So yun yung ng China, sentimento ng China, hey, ban gambling, ban pogos. Ito yung sinasabi ng China. But at the same time, Duterte rejects China's call to ban kasi yun na nga ang nakikita ni Duterte, pera. May pera para sa sambayanan, may pera para sa atin lahat. Yun, may pera. Yun yung that's a good thing, no? That's a good thing. Pera, money makes the world go round, no? So, yun. But with that gold mine na nakuha natin sa Pogo, merong nakabitbit na mga negative naman. So with the crackdowns that happened in the last 5 years, no, merong mga balita, no, merong balita of tax evasion sa mga certain operators. So Pogos were found to be evading billions of pesos in taxes. Some operators were exploiting offshore registrations to avoid paying taxes to the Philippine government, no, resulting in losses of over 50 billion peso by 2020. Despite operating within the country, many Pogos claimed they were not liable for Philippine taxes because they were registered abroad. Merong mga nakakapasok na illegal workers. As of 2019, a total of 342 Chinese without working visas were arrested on Thursday in a raid of a Manila-based Pogo outfit operating without a permit from a gaming regulator, according to the immigrants. Illegal workers, no? Prostitution rings, may mga prostitution rings. Authorities arrested nearly 100 Chinese nationals involved in prostitution rings catering exclusively to Pogo workers. So may exclusive na prostitution rings for Pogo workers. Illegal yan sa atin abduction, torture, killings, and kidnappings ang nangyayari. A syndicate tied to Pogos that kidnap individuals unable to repay their casino debts, selling them into forced labor at online gaming hubs. Torture videos shown during a Philippine House of Representatives hearing in 2024 revealed the brutality faced by these victims, shedding light on the inhumane treatment within the industry. So ito na yung mga pangit na nangyayari, no? Sa human trafficking kasi, ang nangyayari sa human trafficking, pinapramisan yung mga tao na gustong magtrabaho na hey, legal yung trabaho mo, sumama ka sa amin, pumunta ka sa Pilipinas. Kaso, yun nga, kinatawag na human trafficking kasi tinatraffic mo yung tao papunta sa isang lugar na walang legal na basis, walang any kind of legal papers. Pinapapasok mo lang sila. Now, once they arrive in the Philippines, yung trabaho pala na pinarami sa'yo na legal, hindi pala. Pwede kang ilagay sa prostitution, pwede kang ilagay sa isang scamming na instead na akala mo magiging call center ka sa Pogo, scammer pala yung position mo. So, na-traffic ka na. Now, a lot of these people will try to run, no? Will try to escape. And eto yung mga nangyayari. Yung mga nag-i-escape, ina-abduct, tinotorture at pinapatay. No? Kinikidnap. So, eto yung this is the price of having money, no? Of money coming in. This is the price, no? Mabiblame ba natin si Duterte for legalizing it? I don't know. Kasi I doubt, I doubt Duterte would personally want these things to happen. I doubt. I don't know him personally, but me, kung ako yun, kung ang focus ko lang is pera, and kung ang focus ko lang is mabigyan ng money ang kapwa ko Pinoy, siguro tama ako. Pero ito pala ang bayad sa pera na napapasok dito sa Pinas. Ito pala ang mga nangyayari. May mga tao na may human trafficking, may abduction, may torture, may killing, may prostitution, and merong mga scams. So yung scam, aside from investment scams, meron ding mga love scams, no? Love scams is yung yung nagchat-chat ka sa mga foreigner, and once na napaano mo na close mo na, manghihingi ka ng pera. So yun yung mga trabaho ng mga nationals na nakapasok, mga foreign nationals na pinapatrabaho sa mga Pogo hubs. Again, Pogo hubs were expected to only do online gambling that are regulated, like sports betting, any kind of online betting na legal, no? Pero meron talagang gumagawa ng mga ganito na pina-front nila na online gambling sila, pero hindi pala. May mga nangyayari pala behind the scenes. And eto na nga, mga scams, love scams, investment scams. The Pogo hub in Porac, Pampanga is believed to be involved in love scams and may have links to another Pogo hub in Bamban, Tarlac, authorities said over the weekend. The Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission, PAOC, said its agents seized hundreds of cell phones, computers, SIM cards, and pocket Wi-Fi devices inside the raided Lucky South 99 compound. So, pero may troll farm doon, no? Maraming cellphone and SIM cards daw inside the raided Lucky South 99 compound. These operations often involve love scams where victims are led to believe they are communicating with a beautiful woman. She then introduces them to cryptocurrencies, and once they invest, the person disappears the next day. So, eto yung sinabi ng Undersecretary Hilbert Cruz ng PAOC. So, love scams. And aside from that, cyber crimes, hacking, and surveillance. So, may mga nangyayari din. I was very disturbed to hear that there is persuasive information from the intelligence community stating that this Bamban complex is being used for surveillance activities. And among the reported high-profile cases of hacking of our own government websites are traceable in this complex. Natitrace back sa complex ng Bamban, yung mga hacking and surveillance incidents. No? So, yun, nakakatakot. Ito pa, hindi ko pa nga na-mention dito ang ang money laundering na issue. Nakakatakot din yung money laundering . Ang potential kasi ng money laundering, ito kasi yung money laundering. Money laundering is nililinis mo yung pera. Let's say you're a drug lord, no? And you want to keep this 100 million peso na na-earn mo sa drug money. Hindi mo naman yan ipapasok sa sa bangko kasi ika-question ka ng bangko. Saan galing yung 100 million dollars mo? Ba't mo i-deposit yan? Anong yung trabaho mo? Sasabihin mo na, meron akong trabaho, ganito yung trabaho ko. Maki-question ka, may ATR ka ba? Ganito, para ma-justify mo yung 100 million peso na pera. So, ano ang ginagawa ng mga money launderers? Nilinilis nila yung pera. Sasabihin nila doon sa bangko na, hey, etong 100 million dollar peso ko ay galing sa jackpot winnings sa online gambling, no? Pwedeng gawin ng Chinese 'yon, no? Na nanalo ako ng ano. So sino ba naman ang bangko na hindi tatanggap na ganoon kalaki na pera din, 'di ba? Gusto din naman nila yung profit. So profit from that money na pumasok sa ano nila, sa bangko nila. So ganyan yung money laundering na nagiging malinis yung perang galing sa illegal activities. So yun, ano ang posibilidad ng money na yun? Ano ang magiging, you will become very powerful kasi after that, after mo na naging malinis yung money, pwede ka nang bumili ng armed groups, no? Kung ganoon kalaki yung pera mo, pwede mo nang sirain yung Pilipinas gamit ng pera na legal na galing sa iyo. Pwede ka nang bumili ng armas na ipangbigay mo sa mga ano, depende sa trip mo, no? Pwede kang magnegosyo ng pwede kang gumawa ng black market. So ganun. So nakakatakot siya. It's a threat to national security kasi suddenly you have the purchasing power of buying anything you want, no? Pwede kang magpapasok ng spies, pwede kang bumili ng government officials, pwede mong bilhin yung police, pwede mong bilhin yung justice system natin because of that large amount of money na galing sa illegal, no? Hindi hard-earned money na pinagtrabahuan mo. So nakakatakot. So this is Pogo, and I want to learn more. Marami pa akong gustong matutunan. Sino ang mga dark entities that are making Pogo happen, no? Paano ito nakalusot? Paano naging legal ang isang business na marami palang negative na bagahe. Marami pala siyang nakapackage na negative. No, naisip ko kasi I'm pro legalization of drugs, no? Kasi ginagawa na ito ng ibang bansa. Yung ibang bansa kasi nagtry sila ng war on drugs. Natatalo talaga ang government kasi ang nangyayari is na marami lang ang patayan and dumadami lang nagiging creative lang ang mga drug lords and drug pushers, no? Tapos nagmamahal pa ang presyo ng drugs kasi nga mas nagiging delikado siya. So sa black market mas mahal na ang drugs. So kung ganoon yung nangyayari, ang ginawa ng other nations is ginawa nilang ni-regularize nila ang drugs. Ang advantage nun is nakokontrol mo ang purity ng drugs. Let's just say shabu or meth. Nagiging mas malinis siya kumpara sa mas malinis in terms sa chemicals. Yung sinisinghot mo hindi as dangerous as the drugs that are circulated in the black market. Mas malinis yung sayo, mas puro, mas hindi siguro mas damaging sa katawan mo. Kontrolado yung gramo na ikukonsume mo kasi regulated nga, and then authorized sellers ang nagtitinda, hindi yung mga involved sa criminal activities. Government ang magbebenta sa iyo ng shabu. Ganon yung nangyayari sa Amsterdam eh. Meron ngang mga notice sa park na hey, don't buy, wag kang bumili ng ganitong drugs sa hindi registered na mga sellers. Bumili ka dito this way to buy drugs. Parang ganon. So I agree on that eh. Parang in support ako sa ganyan eh, kasi in a way na monitor natin, nabibigyan natin ng programa ang mga drug addicts natin, pwede natin silang gabayan para eventually maging okay sila and maibalik sila sa community as a responsible na mga citizens. Unlike if we make it illegal, we are going after people that are actually not doing any criminal activities but are just mentally unstable, no? That are just mentally unstable, no? Na meron palang problema mentally kaya nadidikit sila sa mga drugs like shabu and cocaine. Now we could monitor them and we could make them a lot healthier compared to us na illegal ang drugs. Mag-a-access naman talaga yun ng drugs eh. Hindi mo naman talaga sila mai-stop eh. Kaya mag-a-access pa din sila ng drugs, bibili pa din sila, and yung sinusolba ng legalization of it is, instead of them buying to criminals and syndicates, bibili na lang sila sa gobyerno. It's earning money, no? Nakaka-earn pa ng money ang government natin to help them back, to give them programs, mabigyan sila ng programa para maayos yung buhay nila. That's what I think about legalization of drugs. But in this case, iba kasi ang kaso ng paglegal ng pogo eh. Meron kasing loophole eh. I don't know if there is a loophole in the drug, no, pag illegalize mo siya, but there is a loophole eh. Merong money laundering involved eh. Once you set up a business entity that's legal, pwede ko nang gawing rason na nanalo ako sa online gambling, kaya meron akong $200 million in my money and I want it to be deposited in your bank. So involve ang money laundering. So it's a tricky siya na kind of business to make it legal. Kasi eto na nga, money laundering will happen, no? So yun, and yun lang. If you have comments, let me know. If you want me to talk about these topics na away sa religion and atheism, let me know as well. See you. Bye.